What is up, you guys? My name is Milo and welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to answer a question that I had before I became a real estate agent. So I'm going to be sharing my personal experiences of getting my license and what I did as soon as I got my license, and also what I think that a lot of new agents should do when they're getting started and even before they get started in the process. All right, so step number one into getting your real estate license is going to be picking the right school that fits your particular style. For me, it was a school called Champions. I ended up picking their website because at the time when I was looking through a bunch of different sites, even though the other sites were a lot cheaper, they didn't seem that well put together. So I was afraid that I wouldn't learn as much from those courses. I ended up going with an online option because at the time when I was getting my real estate license, I was working a full-time job, and then I had my personal life, and I didn't want to really intervene with those two. So I ended up going with the online course, and I did it like about an hour a day, 30 minutes a day, just dabbled on it. And then on the weekends, I went pretty much all of Saturday doing it, and all of Sunday or part of Sunday doing it, and then I spent some time with the family. But it really depends on how fast you think you can do it. I know I've seen people in New York that can do the course in about a week. In Texas, where I got my license, I don't think that's really possible, or at least with the class, with the school that I went with, because after I finished one course, it told me that I had to wait 48 hours before I can go on to the next one. So it kind of gave you a little bit of a break in between your classes. But what that caused, it just like if you were trying to rush through everything, it would just take a little bit longer to get through it all. So I would say if you were in Texas, estimate about 1 to 2 months if you really push through it. But I have seen people that have taken the course over like about a year or sometimes even two, and that's just because they want to take it really slow and want to make sure that they get everything done, and they have a lot of other things in their life that they have to take care of anyways, so those people will take a little bit longer. So I really wouldn't worry too much about how long the course would take you. And obviously that's if you decide to go through the online method, but some schools also offer like in-person or even virtual teachings where they do kind of like a Zoom call or a webinar where you can ask the instructor questions through a chat. But if you are the type of person that feels like you're going to need to ask a lot of questions, I would probably recommend that you do it in person. I didn't do it myself, but I do have to admit that there are a lot of benefits if you end up doing the course in person, because you can ask an instructor for questions, right? They probably have some brokerages that they can recommend to you. Maybe they have a couple agents that you should talk to that they're already friends with. Another benefit is that there's going to be a lot of new agents there as well that you can talk to, socialize with. And in real estate, relationships matter more than anything, not just with your own clients, but with other agents. I know that as soon as I got my license, I went to an orientation class, and I ended up meeting a couple agents there that I ended up doing deals with 2 years later. And it was kind of nice to see where their career was and how far they had gone. But it was also nice to be able to do a deal with them because the communication was always there. And it was so easy to communicate with those people, and those deals became some of the easiest deals that I've done. And from there, I realized that if I would have taken some classes in person, I would have probably made more relationships. That would have made a lot more deals a lot easier to do, just because of that. It would have just made the process a little more fun. Now, when it comes to school, the only school I can recommend is the school that I ended up going with, and it's called Champions School. They are on the pricier end. I think my course ended up costing me about $1,000. It was just the easiest website that I actually kind of like felt familiar with, because it seemed very similar to the stuff that I did back in high school. So I ended up going with that. Yes, it was a little pricier. Do I wish it was half the price? Of course. And are there other courses that are half the price? Yes. Definitely do your research. If you feel like you want to save the money, which is always a good thing, then definitely do that. And one other thing that while we're on the subject of schooling, try to learn as much as possible, because I know that when you're in the process, a lot of people will tell you, "Oh, you won't actually need this entire course. Just remember the questions, take the exam, pass it, get your license. You won't ever use this." I'm one of the people that will tell you I disagree with that, because there have been a lot of people that I've seen that uh, have come into my office and have asked me questions on how to write a contract, what an option period is, some stupid stuff, not some simple stuff that were on the course, but they chose not to listen because they said, "Oh, I'll never use this." So they ended up going through it, memorizing the questions, taking the exam, because it's just that easy. You could do that if you want to. I personally recommend that you actually learn the course, learn the rights. Again, you're getting paid to know this stuff. That's why people use a real estate agent, not just so you can look at properties. It's also so you can, you know, represent them as well as you can. You wouldn't want to get a lawyer that doesn't know the law, would you? That's just my personal, that's just my 2 cents on it. Again, do what you think is best for you. It's your career, but my advice is learn everything you can from those books, because you will need it. Now, step number 2 is obviously once you've taken your exam, you're also going to be asked to take a background check. You're going to do fingerprints, or at least in Texas, I had to do fingerprints and a background check. I'm sure you have to do that all there. But then it comes to getting your license hung with a broker. From here, once you have your license, you can do multiple different things. You can either find an agent somewhere in the neighborhood that you want to find an agent in a neighborhood that you want to target. See how many deals they've done there, and if they are a big enough agent, see if they need help, and see if they probably need a buyer's agent or an assisting agent, and see what you can do to work out a deal where you can work, kind of like let them be your mentor. I know a lot of people that once they become very successful, they feel like they need someone to help them out. So a lot of these big time agents want people to have the courage to reach out to them and say, "Hey, I want someone to help me out." I unfortunately ended up not going with that route. I had the opportunity to get a mentor, and I ended up kind of letting it get to me and said that, "Oh, well, I want 100% of the pie, and you know, if I work under somebody, I'm gonna have to split it 50-50 with them." Looking back at it, I wish I would have done things differently. I think that I would have gotten more deals done sooner than later, and I think it benefits you if you end up finding a mentor, letting them teach you, and going about it in that way. But it really, again, all depends on what type of agent you want to be. If you want to be an independent agent, then I recommend you find brokerages that are in neighborhoods near where you want to specialize in. Real estate is one of those businesses that if you want to be successful, you have to be hyper focused in a specific area. I know a lot of agents that think that they're gonna take over the entire city, the entire metroplex, and some of them could be successful, but in the beginning, it's not a smart idea to start marketing yourself in different neighborhoods. Try to pick a brokerage that's in or near a neighborhood you want to target, and start targeting that neighborhood. In real estate, you'll hear it called a farm, right? Which I don't like that analogy, but let's just use it. They want you to grow a farm and start cultivating that farm. And once you've kind of familiarized yourself with that neighborhood, you start to know the people in those neighborhoods, and then those people will want to do deals with you because they already know you're a familiar face, and those people will talk to their neighbors, and their neighbors will talk to their neighbors, and eventually you'll have that entire neighborhood as your own niche. And guess what? Those people might move to a different neighborhood, and now you can start specializing in that neighborhood. But in the beginning, I think that it's best if you find a brokerage that's in a neighborhood you want to target, and target that neighborhood only, right? Start with one, grow to two, then three, then four. Don't start with five, don't start with three and say, I'm just gonna throw everything and see what sticks. It might work, but it's best if you start getting yourself acquainted with a niche. Start with a niche and grow from there. If you haven't done sales for many years, if you're just starting out, let's say you're in your early 20s, you just got out of high school or just got out of college, and you want to pursue real estate, then I would say find a mentor, because they will guide you in the right way. They've already made all the mistakes that you're about to make. So just, put your ego aside, go out there, work under someone, use their name to get recognition, and go about it in that way. Because maybe 4 or 5 years from that point, you'll be ready to finally go out on your own, and that mentor won't necessarily, and most of the time that mentor won't care. It's like they saw you grow, they helped you grow, and now you can go out there and be your own agent, and now you guys can have a friendly competition. Real estate, it doesn't have to be about, hey, I have to have this and you can't have it, because there's just so many deals out there that there's plenty of money to be made for everyone in general. So people in real estate, for the most part, they're not going to be the type of people that are going to hate you for being in the same neighborhood as them. Everyone in real estate that I've met wants to encourage other agents to grow in certain neighborhoods. And the agents that don't, the agents that think that, hey, you're in my territory, step away, those agents either don't last, or they build such a bad reputation that no one ever wants to work with them. This is a relationship business, and in a relationship business, you have to have a good reputation with both your clients and other agents. That's how you're going to be successful. So if you choose to go with a mentor or not, just remember that your reputation matters. Make sure to stick with that. Don't let your ego get in the way. That's all I gotta say. And one last bonus thing, that if you think that real estate is just not the career for you and you just want to stick with a regular corporate job, that's totally fine. One thing that I will tell you is that you should still get your license, because even though you are working a 9-to-5 job or whatever other job you have, it is nice to be able to buy a house and get kind of paid to buy that house. Because, like, for example, for me, it costed me $1,000 to get my real estate license, and yeah, that was probably one of the more expensive courses. But if I end up buying a house that I want to kind of like just clean up and rent out, I get a 3% kickback every time I buy a house. So let's say I buy a house for $200,000, I get $5,000 after $4,500 after commission splits, and I paid $1,000 for my license. So if I'm getting $4,500 on a kickback just for buying a house that's already going to generate money for me, why wouldn't I do that, right? So get a corporate job, keep your corporate job, still get your license, and just do real estate on the side just for you. Don't be a buyer's agent, don't be a listing agent. Just whenever you see a good deal, or even when you want to buy your next house, get your real estate license, buy yourself a house. If you don't want to do that, then use an agent whenever you're looking for a house. But I say, if you're watching this video and you're thinking about getting your real estate license but you don't think it's for you, still get it. When you're planning on buying a house, it'll help you out in the end. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. If you think that there's something that I missed, if you're an agent yourself and you feel like I missed something, please let me know down below. I'll probably make a follow-up video on all the things I missed. But I just wanted to do this video because I know that when I first started out, I didn't really have kind of like a roadmap. So I think this would probably help some of you. I hope it helps you. If it doesn't, let me know. Maybe I'll just remake this video for other people. Sorry if it didn't work, but yeah, let me know if there's anything that you think I missed, if you're already an agent, or if you're not an agent and you felt that this was a little bit helpful, or if you felt like I may have missed something and you still have questions about it. Yeah, just shoot me a comment down below and I'll be able to answer it really quickly. Or if you want, you can follow me on Instagram and send me a DM and we can kind of start a conversation there. All right, guys, so see you later and have a good one.